What's going on, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. K-Rino. Let me cut my sound up. Got a little blurriness going on. But we'll work through it, man. We here. Um, we want to talk about building legacies, man. Building a legacy for yourself as a person. And the importance of doing it. What does it mean? Anything that's concerned around that revolves around a legacy, we want to discuss that today. Excuse the blurriness. I don't know why. I don't know why we blurry today, but y'all bear with me. It is what it is. It is what it is. Let's see if we can clear it up. But I don't know. Anyway, as y'all come in, hit the like button as y'all come in to the chat, and subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and keep your notifications on so you'll know when I post a video. And we're gonna get right into it, man. We're not gonna play around. I don't know why this topic just came into my head, but I know that it's very important, and I want to make y'all understand the importance of it if you don't already. I'm not assuming that you don't, but I know that there are many young people who this video might come across, and there are many people who might be older who may not have grasped the whole concept of why it's important to establish a legacy and let that be something that you leave behind. First question, just for those just playing the game, somebody might say, man, what exactly is a legacy? I hear that word all the time. Most people know what it is, but let me go into that. A legacy is a remaining essence, something that you leave behind, not necessarily when you pass away, but something that you establish and build and leave behind when you are done with the work that you're doing. And not necessarily done with the work, because some people are on missions that never end until they put them in the dirt. And a legacy can be an idea. It could be a principle. It could be an institution. It could be a body of work, such as music, such as books. It could be a body of work in terms of sports, of athleticism, in terms of movies, works that you put together, art, actual art, things that touch people and reach people and inspire people, and things that people benefit from when they encounter or come into contact with those ideas, principles, bodies of work, etc., etc., etc. Those are representative of legacy. And another key component to the definition of legacy is that your legacy outlives you. The legacy outlasts the individual. It lives longer than the individual. Because what you do is so impactful that it doesn't just touch the generation that you're in, it touches generations that come long, long after you. That's what a legacy is. But it's two-sided. That's the thing we got to understand. We got to understand that it's two-sided, because a legacy is not always necessarily a good legacy. Some people have done things or become known for doing things that are not good and positive things, and now their legacy is one that is tainted, is one that is negative, is one that is a legacy of evil, a legacy of deceit and lies and wrongdoing. That's still a legacy. It's just, it's not a good one. So we want to focus on trying to figure out what it is about us, what it is that we will do moving forward that will establish our legacy and be a benefit. Let it be one that is a benefit to the people who come in contact with it. Music is what I do. So quite naturally, whatever it is that you do, that is what your legacy will be tied to. They tie on to each other. So for the most part, people will discuss my legacy in terms of music. That's cool. But to the person whose mind operates on a broader scope, who thinks on a bigger scope, they may know that this is one thing that I do that maybe I'm known for, or maybe I'm best at, but there's more to me than that. And they also understand, or you should grow to understand, that whatever the talent is, whatever the gift is that puts you on the path of legacy building, you want to make sure that you figure out a way to tie it in to the service of people. I'm going to say that part again. Whatever it is that your gift is, and that gift is the foundation that you can build a legacy with, you want to make sure that it's also tied into the service of people. So you hear people all the time talk about how famous people, this is the term they say, it's really good how this particular celebrity uses his or her celebrity in order to do this for people, to contribute to this charitable cause, to raise money for this charitable cause. Whatever the case is, they use what they've built on one level to do service to the people. That aspect of it is always going to be, in my opinion, because people would disagree with that. And I'll tell you why in a minute. That aspect is always going to be bigger than just the basics of what it is that you do. So, for example, if you take somebody like Muhammad Ali, so you got Muhammad Ali, who is regarded as the greatest boxer of all time. His greatness in the ring is unquestionable. His greatness in the ring can be argued by anyone with a brain. Everybody knows and sees. And even if you don't view him to be the absolute greatest of all time, it's not too many people that won't put Ali in their top three just for what he did inside the square circle. But what shot Muhammad Ali up through the stratosphere was not just his boxing work. It was the work that he did outside of the ring. It was the fights that he took on outside of the boxing ring and the stances that he took that were not popular at the time to the masses, but he stood strong and firm on those principles regardless. And then time vindicated him, and now Everybody looks and holds Ali in high regard, and his legacy is tied to not just boxing, but to the work that he did outside of the ring and the stances and the principles that he stood on. So people extracted from those principles, people who were not even born when Ali took the stances that he took, due to his following the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, because we got to give credit where it's due. Following the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, people love Ali now for those stances that he took that were based on the teachings of the honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they vindicated him, and now he's elevated, and his legacy is tied into that work. The boxing is now kind of just like, okay, yeah, that's how we become, that's how we came to know him. But that's one of the reasons he stands out above all of the other greats, because Joe Frazier was great. Love Joe Frazier. George Foreman, great. Love George Foreman. Ken Norton, Ernie Shavers, Larry Holmes, all of you go all the way down the line. But it's something about that Ali. Personality and all that has a lot to do with it. Charisma has a lot to do with it. And of course, actual ability has something that has a lot to do with it. But when the people see somebody who reflects them and speaks to their struggle, the people are going to gravitate towards an individual who speaks to their struggle more so than just somebody who is good at the talent that they have, but never opens their mouth when it comes down to critical issues that the people are dealing with at that time. Because they might be scared, they might be afraid of losing a spot, losing a position, losing a check. So now you got certain people that they don't touch certain topics. Not gonna touch that. And when you do that, you now shrink. You shrink yourself, but you also shrink in the eyes of the people in the public, who sometimes may look to you to say, okay, what's his stance? How does he view that? And I know what you're thinking. Some people say, well, man, you shouldn't. That's why we shouldn't look to celebrities for our to be role models and things of that nature. That's not what I'm talking about. Because people say that, but they categorize everybody. They put everybody in the same boat, and you can't do that. I can agree if you say, well, there are certain people that we're not gonna worry about what they got to say based on how we know their mind operates. But if a person steps up in the face of an oppressive situation, or to speak on a particular cause that will benefit the people and will speak truth to power and empower other people, inspire young people, you can't dismiss that because he's a celebrity, because she's a celebrity. Can't do that. That's foolish. See, I made a video the other day where I talked about how people have taken on this notion now, and some have done it intentionally, but they've taken on this notion that if you are not a licensed professional in a particular field, then you're not qualified to speak on it, despite the fact that research and information is available to anybody. So I don't have to necessarily go through the processes of 6, 7, 8 years of school and these different courses of study. I don't necessarily have to go through those processes in order to make a determination about a certain subject that I've studied and researched for myself and compared to different other people on opposite sides of the spectrum. I have the right to learn too. And then I have the right to speak on what it is I've learned. And I'm not going to be dismissed because you tell me I ain't a doctor. I know I'm not a doctor. But the people love an individual who speaks truth to power without fear and speaks their opinion without fear. See? So part of building a legacy is the removal of fear. It's the removal of fear, because a lot of greatness has been left on the table because the people who had the opportunity to thrust themselves into that greatness, they were scared to do it. They were scared to move on it. So again, a lot of that greatness got left on the table. You had it in your mind what you knew you needed to do, but you got scared because you visualized a consequence that didn't seem like it was going to be favorable to you. So you got scared. Something happened at work that you knew was wrong. It was unjust. It was unfair treatment. You saw it. Something rose up in you. That God voice in you spoke and said, man, you need to step up. You're going to sit there and let that happen right in front of you. And you just stayed at your desk and acted like you didn't see it. You had a moment and you left greatness on the table, but you don't know where that could have went, because they say no risk, no reward. There's a whole lot of people who didn't get the reward because they were scared to take the risk. And a lot of all of the great people that we read about, all of the great people that we hear about in the books, it doesn't matter if it's black, white, Latino, Asian, Arab, there is a name that is great in every race of people, every pocket of history, every era in time. As far as you can go back, you can pull out somebody that will be held in regard of being great and having a legacy, whether they was good or whether they was evil. Hitler got a legacy. See? Charles Manson got a legacy. The point I'm making is that to not have fear of a consequence. And a consequence doesn't always mean you're going to go to jail. We think of that as a consequence. A consequence doesn't always mean, well, you might get killed. Nah. A consequence could mean that the people are not going to understand you at first. The consequence could mean that friends and family might turn on you. It could be that people might call you crazy. It could mean that you might lose a job. But it's a consequence nonetheless. But when you know in your heart that this is what I want to do, and this is what is something driving in me to do it, you can't let fear hold you back. And I'm talking about things that are of good. I ain't talking about when you get that urge to go rob that bank. Man, I think we could take that bank, man. I just the way it's laid out, the security is real lax, man. I go in there all the time and tell, listen to me, dog, we can get it. No, I ain't talking about that. Talking about something good. Because, yeah, you rob that bank and you go on a bank robbing spree, you'll leave a legacy like that too. But you want to leave something that will be, as I said earlier, of benefit to generations coming after you. Something that will be of benefit to your family and to your children. See? Keep bringing up young Dolph. People always got something negative to say. Well, shouldn't have been involved in whatever he was involved in. That ain't your place to judge. Nor is it my place to judge. I'm going to dwell on the part of him that left a positive legacy, that established in a very short period of time things and put things in place where his family would be set in the event that he was no longer physically with them, which is the case right now. He left a legacy of not just music, he left a legacy of land and institution and idea. He left a blueprint that his children can now look at and say, man, when they get old enough, if they're not old enough now, but whenever they reach the age where they can understand, they can say, well, man, I see what daddy did to me, did for me. That's love. That's what love is right there. Love is a showing of actions that would lead to the security of those that you say that you love. Sacrifices and things of that nature. But how can you leave a legacy if you don't even know what your gift is? You don't even know what your foundation will be to leave that legacy. How can you leave it? You got to find your gift. You got to ask God, what is it that I do good if you ain't found it yet? Because he gave you something. He gave you something. You just got to find it if you ain't found it yet. Then you got to educate yourself in that field. You got to educate yourself on the business aspects of that field. We all got to do that. I'm still trying to get to that point. I'm still trying to learn that part in a lot of ways. I got it in a few ways. But things are evolving all the time. You got to learn the ins and outs of whatever it is that you're doing. Then you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're doing, you have to establish ownership over it. Ownership over whatever it is that you're doing. What good does it do to find your gift, master your gift, execute this gift for somebody else to benefit from it? Somebody else's family to benefit from it, somebody who don't have nothing to do with it. You get some shout outs, man. I got some OGs up in here. I saw Dottie Houston in here, man. Hey, look, I know y'all, look, let me do this real quick. We talking about legacy. Please give me a peace sign, a salute, a 100, a power fist, or acknowledge in some way if you are familiar with the Donnie Houston podcast. Just in some kind of way. Peace sign, power fist, whatever you got. Just acknowledge in some way. It ain't that many of us in here tonight, but we gonna rock with what we got. If you know about the Donnie Houston podcast, make it known right now. What I want to say to y'all is, because this brother is building a legacy. He has carved out a lane that has become synonymous with Houston history, synonymous with Houston hip hop history, where the artists can go on his platform and tell their story and give historical accounts of things that contributed to the legacy of this city as it relates to hip hop and as it relates to music. Donnie Houston did that. So please support and go watch his videos, man, because you're going to learn about your favorite rappers out this city. You're going to learn about rappers that might not have been your favorite. They will become favorites of yours just when you hear their story. Derek Mallory say he's better than Vlad. He's 10 times better than Vlad. Vlad is a devil. I also want to shout out to my homie, Young Lee in the building. What's up, nephew? I saw you up in here. I saw you in here, nephew, Young Lee. My little young soldier nephew. Been spitting flames since he came out the womb. But it's about ownership. How can you leave behind something that you don't own? I can't leave my music behind to a family member if I don't own it. I have some stories in my head, man, that I can't openly say, I can't talk about. But they heartbreaking stories when you talk about legacy and you talk about ownership. And in this particular story that I have in my mind, the lack of ownership that led to not being able to leave behind something for your children that would absolutely, if they had ownership of it, would set their children up and they would be sitting pretty. K Love is in the building. Hey, look, we got to do an OG salute real quick, y'all. We got to do an OG salute. Y'all see that name, Keisha Robertson? She is like, what we about 30 years deep. South Park Coalition. She was there almost from day one. Spitting rhymes right with us, man, back in the days with me and Nip and AC Chill and all of us, man. We got to give an OG salute, man. So I need peace signs. I need power fists. I need salutes, whatever you can, man. Show some love to the OG. We don't get a lot of the female OGs in here a lot. We don't get a lot of female OGs, so we're going to salute our sister up in here right now. Y'all show some love, man. Y'all know how we do it. Y'all know how we do it. There it is. Hearts, everything. Here's the deal, man. Until we focus on ownership, yeah, y'all keep showing that love, the K love. Until we focus on ownership, man, there's no legacy. And the way that these industries are constructed, they are constructed and built to take ownership from the creator, the real talent. Think about how the movie industry works. I ain't got to talk about music because y'all already know. Think about how the movie industry works. You have an actor that comes in, they may pay this actor $1 million to do a movie. And of course, you may say, $1 million, hey, that's pretty good money. Yeah, absolutely, it is. Not many of us would turn down $1 million to do a movie role. But how much money is that movie gonna make? If it's a top movie, it may gross at the box office. It may make 90, 100, 150, $200 million at the box office. The budget might have been 60 million. But you paid the actor $1 million. That's a drop in the bucket. And that actor whose name is attached to that movie forever because they played a hell of a role in that movie, they inspired people and all this stuff, they don't own any part of that work. The movie company owns the work. The movie company reaps the revenue from the box office sales from that movie. They own the movie. Paramount owns the movie. Universal owns the movie. I don't care if you got these actors out here that's making $20 million a movie. That's great. But they don't own the work. That's why Dave Chappelle is so important. That's why when you listen to him talk and say the things that he says about his journey and the things that he went through and the stances that he took, the money that he left on the table and things of that nature, and why it's important. Because you cannot establish ownership of your work if you have not first established ownership of yourself. If them folks own you, they're gonna own everything that you do. It's a pimp and hoe relationship. That's all it is. The pimp seeks to control the mind of the prostitute. They're not going straight for the body. They got to get control of the mind. And they get control of the mind, then they know that she's going to do whatever it is they tell her to do. So if we don't have ownership over ourselves, over our own mind and our understanding of what it is we're trying to do, then we'll sign anything over and just take it. And you'll feel it later. You'll feel it later as time goes on and your revenue, your assets, they don't reflect the work that you put in. They don't reflect the work that you put in. They don't match the work that you put in. You got all of these movies, all of these records. You've boxed all these boxing matches. But this side don't match this side. But for some other individual sitting up in an office somewhere, his works are zero, but his assets are way, way up. And I got a long arm because they've taken control. And now your legacy is only recognized and felt in just the work. I can watch clips of you knocking people out. I can watch video of you scoring 40 and 50 points. I can listen to your music and hear you just spitting, killing it on the mic. I can hear you and see you doing what you do, and that is one aspect of your legacy. But for you, you empty on the inside because you realize a lot of times when it's too late, what you have given away, you've given away not necessarily the best part of yourself, but you've given away a crucial part of yourself that would have set your family up long after you gone. Mistakes. No fault. Not disrespecting anybody who's been down that road. We just speaking in general. Feels good music. I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the love and the donation, man. That's real as it get. Much love back to you. Feels good music. Thank you so much. See, we're talking about building a legacy, and what does it mean? It means that your little babies don't ever have to worry about it. All these rappers getting shot, all these youngsters getting shot and killed, and at an early age, man, 21, 22, 28, 25 babies. It means that your babies, even though they lost their father, unfortunately have lost their father, daddy left them something. Shouldn't have left them. And that's another thing we got to start being aware of, man. There are so many of us throughout history, our great black brothers and sisters throughout history that have given their lives over for a cause that's bigger than them, and a cause that was absolutely for the improvement and the betterment of their people. They gave their life for that. That's one of the greatest demonstrations and examples of love that you can have. They gave their life for a cause that was bigger than them. They sacrificed their own time with their family and all that. So my point of saying that is to say, when you look at people like that, we cannot be disrespectful to people like that by living our life and saying, man, I'm out here reckless. I'm out here busting at my enemies, and I'm on Instagram talking reckless about what I'm going to do and blah, 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 blah. But I'm selling all this music. I'm selling out shows. I'm now in a world that I should be focusing on transitioning out of a particular death style, not a lifestyle. I should be transitioning out of that because I should have been doing what I claim was the purpose anyway, to use this music, this gift I had to get me out of that lifestyle. But you still in it. So now the ramifications kick in from being still in that lifestyle when you didn't have to be. And your children and your family are now suffering because of it. We got to grow up. We got to grow up and out of a certain way of thinking. Jimi Hendrix, much love to you, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the donation, man. Jimi Hendrix in the building. 74 Red says, any industry that creates billions of dollars consistently is hard to trust. That's why music, movies, pharma, and vaccines are difficult to trust. Yeah, because what happens is the quest for the money becomes so great, the greed becomes so great that now they don't have any concern about whatever means they want to use to keep generating the money as fast as they can. So any new ways to generate whatever the product is, even if the product is detrimental to the people, let's keep the money going. That's why they inject growth hormone into cows and the chickens and things like that, because they want to make them grow as fast as they can. They want to produce as fast as they can so they can sell as much as they can, as fast as they can, and make as much money as they can. It's not about quality, it's about quantity. See? Legacy, man. You're only here for a short time. I'm going to do a video or a live stream about that subject real soon. That may be my next one, where I'm going to talk about age. I'm going to talk about our time here on this planet, and how no matter how long it might appear, or how old a person might appear to be based on the standards of this world, you're not here long, man. But I ain't gonna get into that. But the reason why I brought that up is to say that whatever you got going, max it out and get the most of it. Because I said in a song a long time ago, I say some of the greatest men who ever lived never reached 40. They never saw 40 years of age. People argue and debate over how old Jesus was. Some say he was 33. Some say he was 36. Whichever one that you feel, he did not make it to 40. We know that Malcolm X did not make it to 40. We know that Martin Luther King did not make it to 40. There have been kings and queens throughout history who did not make it to 40 years old, but the legacy that they built, the time that they spent on this planet, and the work that they did has outlived them and will outlive them for eternity in a short period of time. We live in Houston, Texas. I live in Houston, Texas. Many on this chat live in Houston, Texas. And even for those who don't, y'all are going to know this name when I say it. When I say DJ Screw. DJ Screw was 29 years old. He did not see 30 when he passed away. When he passed away over 20 years ago. Yet, his name comes out of multiple mouths every single day. I wish I knew how many times a day somebody said Screw's name. You know why? Because he left a legacy. His legacy was left through an innovative style of DJing that no one had done. He left a legacy. That's what you should be focused on. What is it that you are going to be remembered for? What is it that's going to make you stand out to where people say, well, man, he left his mark. She left her mark. It's about leaving a mark. We have something naturally in us that makes us want to let the world know that we here. Something naturally in us. That's why people like attention. That's why some people they want to be seen. They want to be heard. Because it's something in us innately that makes us want to show the world that we here. Remember back in the days, people would write on the wall, Johnny was here. Nobody cared if Johnny was there, but see, Johnny cared that he want to let you know. I don't know how I look in the schools now. Well, I did go to a school to speak last week, and it's a little more, way more advanced. But back in the days when we used to sit in the same old desk, we would sit, the desks that we had in school, when I was in high school, these were desks that clearly had been there for generations, because all kinds of things were carved into the desktops. And you would see people who carved their names in the desk. They might put the year, it may say 1979 on it. They wanted to leave something behind to those who came after them to look and see who was here before they was here. That's why they carved their name. I did the same thing. I carved my name in the desk. So anybody that came along, they're going to, oh, man, K-Rino was in this class? Yeah. Because it's something in us. We want people to know we was here. And these are on small levels. But you got to think big. Tina P, the OG. What's up, Tina P, the OG? That's your name now. You can't escape it. You got to think big. See? Even animals, peep the game, man. Even animals understand legacy. Y'all maybe say, man, how do an animal understand legacy? I'm going to tell you how an animal understands legacy. An animal understands legacy because it's something naturally in the animal that wants to reproduce and procreate and leave a part of himself behind. It's something naturally that God puts in every creature. So I was watching the Animal Channel years ago, and I saw something that tripped me out. There was a pride of lions, and a pride just means a group, and the female lionesses. And of course, there may be one or two males that run a whole pride of lionesses. That's their pride. They're young. They're reproducing with all of the female lions. He's the king. He's getting it in. And something happened to one of the male lions where he was gone. He got ran out of his own pride. He either got ran out or he was gone or something. Something happened. I think he got ran out. But whatever the case was, this new lion came in and he was trying to take over the pride. One of the lionesses had just recently had some cubs, little bitty baby cubs. The new lion that came in, he immediately went over and killed the cubs, the baby cubs. He killed them mercilessly. So you say, man, why would he kill those little innocent baby cubs? It's like he came in to take over the prize. Seemed like he would just be like, okay, well, you know, hey, you got these little baby cubs, but hey, I run this now. Nope. He wanted to establish his own legacy. It's a lion. It's an animal. Because the narrator said, once these babies were killed, then the female lion would go back in the heat and he would mate with the female lion and produce his own cubs. He wanted to leave his own legacy. Now, this is a savage example, not condoning this example, but this is the animal kingdom. But my point is to lay out the principle that everything has it in them naturally to want to leave a legacy, to leave a part of themselves behind. Even the animals, even the ants, the birds, they understand this. But a lot of us don't get it as people. And we are supposedly the most intelligent species. Dollar bill. Dollar bill, we need to talk, man. We got to get up on that project that you done put me up on. I ain't had time to get on it, but it been tucked in my head. So we need to chop it up. for real, this week. Let me show some love real quick. 74 Red, I appreciate the love. Appreciate the donation, 74 Red. MC, I can't leave the MC part off of that. You're an MC, that's what it is. See, we can't waste time, man. We can't waste time just lollygagging around. What will be your contribution to the world to make the world a better place? Some of y'all say, well, man, I'm not really nobody, man. I'm not, what can I do? It ain't nothing I can do to make the world better. Yes, it is. You may not be on a worldwide platform. You may not stand before the world and give this great speech or this great lecture. You may not put out a record that sells 20 million copies and changes the game and inspires millions. You might not do that. But you can establish yourself within a community. You can establish yourself within your house. You can establish yourself within your household. Why do you think that grandmothers and great-grandmothers are so revered in the family structure? Big Mama, my dear, Nana, revered in the family structure because their legacy is the gluing together and the keeping together of a whole family unit. They represent the headquarters. Most of the time, grandma's house is the headquarters for the family unit. Everybody gravitates to that house, to mama's house, grandma's house. On the holidays, boom, boom. Everybody goes to this one place. When there's a problem, everybody wants to talk to grandma. And when grandma passes, her legacy is set in that everybody can express a part of her that was beneficial to them. Everyone who took the knowledge and the wisdom and the lessons in can now begin to reflect the example that she set and that she instilled in them. Y'all ain't paying no attention, man. See? That's what it's about. It ain't about, you don't have to be big and famous. Your legacy. Work within the circle that you're in. People will talk about you. You got legends that everybody in the world knows. And you got legends that only people in a certain hood, in a certain city know about. But those legacies are important all the same. They can tell you about, boy, I'm telling you, boy, y'all remember One-Armed Chuck? I'm just making up something. And they can tell you all kind of great things that One-Armed Chuck used to do. One-Armed Chuck hit 58 points and snatched 30 rebounds with one arm because he left that legacy. Work within your circle, man. There are things that are greater than just money that represent legacy. Sometimes you may have an elder family member who's about to transition and they know it. And they will call on the responsible members of the family, the younger children. Mama might have had 8, 9 children, but if some of them that ain't right. 2 or 3 of them are the ones that mama can depend on to handle things. She might call you in, hey, baby, I want you to have this. And she gives you something. You open it up, and it's a bunch of old pictures, family heirlooms, what they call it, little trinkets that have been passed on through generations in the family. She gives that stuff to you. Not gonna give it to your older brother. She gave it to you because she always knew that you were the child who appreciated that stuff back when she would pull it out and show everybody. And she knew that you was the one who appreciated that stuff. You were the one who wanted to go through it. You were the one who asked questions about, well, who is this? Oh, that's your aunt such and such right there. She was, who is that? Oh, this your Uncle Bob right here. She knew that you appreciated it. So she made sure before she left, she gave it to you because that's a part of your family legacy and that's a part of history, and it has to be preserved by somebody who's gonna value it, not somebody who's gonna toss it in the corner somewhere, may lose it. This all reflects legacy. Legacy is not just for you. They're gonna mention your name. Oh yeah, you're the one who did this. We named this building after you. Yeah, that's cool. But you gone. You don't know what they doing in that building no more. It's over. It's for those that you leave behind, man. For pride, for security, for an example of how they need to moving forward. Because some people would take a legacy that was built by one of their parents or relatives and they'll squander it off. They would destroy it. That's why I got to be placed in the right hands. And you have other people who will steal your legacy. People who will lay claim to your work as if they was the ones who did it. They will lay claim to your work as if they were the ones who did it. And they will come in at the last second, swoop in, and steal the credit. That's why we see pictures of white Jesus everywhere all the time. Somebody swooped in and knew the real history and was like, whoa, wait a minute. We trying to enslave these Negroes. We trying to keep these Negroes down. They can't see no picture of the Messiah that looks like them. They stole a legacy. But the truth will be revealed and has been revealed. Tina say like a thief in the night. Hellraiser say we destroying legacies in the best way possible or the worst way possible, depending on how you look at it. See? But don't just look at those who are known and those who are famous. Look at yourself and figure out what your mark is going to be in this world. Learn by watching other people. Don't be scared to be different. Don't be scared to be innovative. You want to leave your mark, man. Shout out to young Dolph, man, for leaving his mark. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle for leaving his mark. and everybody else that I might not be thinking about at the time. And this what you got to understand too. You can still be here and witness your legacy. You ain't got to be that dead and gone. But for the entire time that you're breathing on this planet, be mindful at all times that as long as you're walking around, every action that you do is shaping your legacy for the good or for the worse. For the good or for the worse. Mega Cali said, help others find their peace. Where y'all at, man? Drop your locations. Ain't that many of us in here tonight, but guess what? I appreciate every last one of y'all. That's right. Drop your locations and hit the like button if you haven't already. I want to know where you're from. I want to know where you from. That's not a real song. I just made it up. I want to know where you're from. Don't leave your name in prison. You might return to see it. Who said that? The old Zomni. Yeah. Mega Cali says graffiti art. Art is one of the greatest examples of how people leave their legacy, man. I'm going to the Van Gogh exhibit at some point. Van Gogh lived, he's been gone. Van Gogh been dead a long time. But people still mention his name. People still look at his work. They still admire his work. And his work served as his legacy. It was a part of him that he left behind. Basquiat. John Basquiat. He's left work that was a part of him. And now people love and admire him all around the world. I want to know where you're from. I want to know where you're from. Y'all talk about my shirt. This my homie Jay Walker. Y'all know Jay Walker, who does all my album covers. Did the Big Seven. He did, I can't remember. He did Therapeutic Plantation Rebellion. No, he didn't do Therapeutic Plantation Rebellion. He did Making Enemies, Deprogrammed, the Big Seven, the 4-piece. My brother Jay Walker. This is his work. It's his legacy. See, people make clothes. That's their legacy. I want to know where you're from. Don't steal my song, y'all. I want to know where you're from. I bet y'all think I'm crazy. Let me see what we got, man. Where y'all at? Tina P. We know Tina P. The P stands for Philly. Calgary. Okay. Never seen nobody in here from Calgary before. Columbus, Ohio. York, Pennsylvania. My buddy Halfstein. I see you, Halfstein, out there in Iceland. I can never pronounce the name. Is that Reykjavik? Reykjavik? Manawatu, New Zealand. Nashua, New Hampshire. Man, y'all got some stuff that's hard to pronounce. Dollar Bill, you back on Andromeda? I'm gonna have to come to Andromeda and hang out with you, man. Bay Area, Killer Cali, the Yay area, Amarillo, Foxworth, Mississippi, Illinois, Nairobi, Kenya, New Zealand, Rhode Island. Man, we everywhere today, man. Man. Cleveland in the building, Austin, Texas, California, Superior, Wisconsin. Y'all all over the place, man. I love it. Y'all know why I asked y'all's location? It's because I want to know where you're from. Yeah, man. The people are in the house. That's right. All the time. Time I do a live, man, my people show up. New York in the building. Kaufman, Texas. I live in Texas. I never heard of Kaufman before. See? Y'all like that song? I want to know where you're from. Man. But put God first, man. If you're struggling to figure out what your purpose is in life, man, just pray for him to tell you and show you and guide you. And then mash the gas, man. Mash the gas. Don't be scared, man. Each and every one of y'all have something to offer the world. And you have something that can change the world and make the world better. And you have something that nobody else can execute better than you. But fear restricts us. Fear puts us in a mind frame. And not just fear, a lot of times just doubt. We abort our own dreams. I want to know where you're from. All right, man. I'll catch y'all later, man. Peace.